The series opens in a dense forest, where we meet Ish, a bounty hunter and biologist. He's living far from civilization, immersed in his research. One day, a venomous snake bites him during his fieldwork. Panic sets in, compounded by the fact that he dropped his phone and can't call for help. He desperately tries to suck the venom out, but it's no use. Back at his cabin, he makes an incision, but the venom is already spreading, causing him to experience strange hallucinations. He lies in this state for days, semi-conscious and completely drained of strength. A group of scientists eventually arrives, but he's unable to call out to them. They leave, assuming he's not there. Days later, the venom finally works its way out of his body through the incision, and the hallucinations subside. Regaining some strength, he sets off for the city hospital. But something's off. The roads are eerily deserted. Reaching the city, he's met with an even more disturbing sight. It's completely empty. Buildings stand vacant, devoid of life. He realizes a deadly pandemic has swept through, wiping out the entire population. As a biologist, he deduces his isolation in the wilderness spared him from the disease. With no government, no one owns anything. His thoughts immediately turn to his parents. He races back home, only to discover they've been dead for some time, their bodies badly decomposed. Overcome with grief, he buries them outside their home. The next day, after confirming he's truly alone in the city, he decides to head to Las Vegas. He packs supplies, grabs a gun, and sets off. But the bridge to Vegas is closed. Undeterred, he finds a detour. Arriving in Las Vegas, he finds the same desolation: empty malls, hotels, casinos. Exhausted, he spends the night in a luxury hotel, indulging in the now-free amenities. He'd given up hope of finding anyone else alive. But the following night, he encounters two survivors, a man and a woman. The woman recounts the heartbreaking story of watching her family die over video call, having lost all will to live. The man echoes her sentiment, feeling survival in this desolate world is pointless. They stay with him for the night. The next morning, he senses something unsettling about the man's intentions. The man has a gun and plans to kill all three of them, believing it's a merciful act in this empty world. But Ish wants to live. He slips away, hearing gunshots behind him, confirming his suspicions. Devastated by this latest tragedy, he feels the crushing weight of being the last man on Earth. He drives back to his cabin, picking up a stray dog along the way. The dog becomes his companion, offering a flicker of hope. He starts rebuilding his life, reading survival books, foraging for food, and exploring the abandoned town, always searching for other survivors. Day after day, he returns empty-handed. One day, while having tea with his dog, the dog starts barking at something in the distance. Smoke rises from a nearby house. Hope ignites. He drives to the house and finds a woman, Emma, who's understandably frightened. He assures her he means no harm, explaining he's also a lone survivor searching for others. Relieved, she invites him in. They learn it's been a year since the pandemic began. Neither has seen another living soul in all that time. They're both overjoyed to find companionship, having both been on the verge of despair from the isolation. Humans are social creatures. Living alone had taken a heavy toll on their mental health. They decide to live together at Ish's cabin, which is near a general store with food supplies. Ish has also stocked his cabin with various resources, making survival easier. Emma moves in, and their lives begin to improve drastically. She helps him with various tasks. They start renovating the neglected cabin, and a sense of normalcy returns. They establish routines, working together each day. They also realize that if they are the only two left, they need to repopulate the Earth. While this is a mutual decision, Ish is initially apprehensive when Emma becomes pregnant, worried about their child's chances of survival in this strange new world. Emma reassures him, and Ish, being a biologist, starts studying books on childbirth, knowing they'll have to manage the process themselves. They continue working on making their home as self-sufficient as possible. Ish installs solar panels for electricity. As time passes, the town becomes overgrown, and wild animals begin encroaching on urban areas, posing a new threat. They build a fence around their home and arm themselves for protection. They also adopt more animals, creating a small farm for sustenance and to keep themselves occupied. The absence of humans allows nature to reclaim the land, resulting in cleaner air and improved health for both of them. Their life becomes almost idyllic. But then, another challenge arises: a massive influx of rats. Ish panics, trying to burn debris around their home to keep them away, but it's a temporary fix. Emma calms him, assuring him they'll find a solution. The next morning, Ish brings back a large number of cats, which effectively deal with the rat infestation. Finally, the day arrives for Emma to give birth. Ish helps deliver the baby, and they're overjoyed to welcome a healthy daughter into their world, giving them renewed hope. They post signs with their address throughout the town, hoping to attract other survivors. 6 years pass. While driving through the woods, Ish encounters a large, injured animal. He puts it out of its misery. A young girl witnesses this from a distance and flees into the woods. Ish, noticing her, chases after her, wanting to help. The girl is terrified, but Ish offers her an apple, a gesture of peace. He invites her to come home with him, but she insists on riding in the trunk of his car. Back at the cabin, we see Ish and Emma now have 2 children, with a third on the way. 2 other survivors, George and Marina, have also joined them, having found their address signs a year earlier. Their community is thriving. The girl Ish rescued still refuses to leave the trunk. The next morning, Marina tries to offer her food, but the girl throws it away in fear. Marina then shares her own story of wandering the desolate world with George for months before finding Ish and Emma. She assures the girl they're good people and that she's safe. This calms the girl somewhat, and she starts to interact with the others. However, she remains unusually quiet and hasn't revealed her name. Marina later discovers strange drawings and a letter among the girl's belongings. The letter, written by the girl's mother, reveals her name is Evie and explains that Evie's father abused her during the pandemic. The mother, knowing she's dying, asks whoever finds Evie to care for her. The community rallies around Evie, offering her extra support and understanding. That night, Emma gives birth to their 3rd child, bringing more joy to the group. A year later, they detect signs of someone entering their territory. Everyone is on edge. The children are sent inside while the adults arm themselves and go to investigate. They discover a group of 4 survivors who also found their address signs. One of them is Molly, a doctor, who explains she's only encountered these 4 other survivors in all this time. Their appearance and demeanor seem harmless, so Ish and Emma welcome them into their community. Ish explains the rules of survival in this new world, emphasizing the constant need for weapons and the importance of traveling in groups for protection from wild animals and other potential dangers. After this briefing, they organize a supply run to the mall and hospital. Molly, being a doctor, collects valuable medical supplies for the community. Years pass. The community grows, with several children born into the group. Ish educates the children, teaching them about pre-pandemic society and survival skills. One day, a large lion enters their compound. Ish, seeing the danger to the children, confronts the lion, which attacks him. The others manage to scare the lion away, but Ish is severely injured. Emma, enraged, hunts down the lion and kills it. Molly and the others work together to save Ish's life. He recovers after several weeks. 17 years later, the children are now young adults. Ish's eldest daughter, Heather, has become close with one of the boys in the group. Their relationship is accepted, as relationships within the community are necessary for its continuation. Heather and the boy decide to venture beyond their town in search of other survivors and to explore the world. The community supports their decision, equipping them with supplies and weapons. After their departure, a new problem arises: a water shortage. The dam is running dry, posing a serious threat to their survival. Shortly after, another group of survivors arrives with 2 trucks. They're low on fuel and offer to help solve the water problem with their drilling equipment in exchange for some of Ish's fuel reserves. Ish agrees, but cautions his community to be wary of the newcomers. The new group begins drilling, and after several days, they strike water, bringing immense relief. They celebrate that night, and the next morning, the group is set to leave. However, Ish notices the group's leader, Charlie, acting suspiciously, sneaking out of Evie's room at night while a guard stands watch outside. Upon confronting Charlie, Ish discovers he's been abusing Evie. Ish informs the community, and Evie confirms Charlie's intentions to stay permanently, taking over their supplies and weapons. The community is alarmed. Ish feels they have no choice but to kill Charlie to protect themselves. While everyone agrees, some hesitate, reminding him how few people are left in the world. Ish argues that if they don't act, Charlie will destroy their community. They devise a plan and ambush Charlie, with Ish delivering the fatal blow with an axe. They bury Charlie. Ish is deeply troubled by taking a life, even for survival, but he knows it was necessary to protect his community. The next morning, they inform Charlie's group of his death, explaining the reason. Surprisingly, most of them aren't upset, some even revealing Charlie had abused women in his own group. Only one of Charlie's men reacts angrily, and Ish, sensing a similar dangerous streak in him, banishes him from the community. The man initially leaves but later returns, realizing he can't survive alone. Ish, prioritizing the community's safety, refuses to let him back in. Meanwhile, the community's children are attempting to rebuild a plane from salvage parts, hoping it will eventually allow them to expand their search for other survivors. But before they succeed, another crisis hits. The pandemic virus resurfaces, infecting several community members. Molly, with her medical knowledge, manages to treat them, but Ish's son becomes critically ill, causing widespread concern. Amid this crisis, Heather returns alone, distraught. She reveals that during their journey, they searched countless towns and homes, finding no other survivors. While leaving their address everywhere, they eventually encountered a man in the woods who killed her partner, claiming it was revenge for Charlie. Heather, in self-defense, killed the man and fled back home. Before the community can fully process this tragedy, Ish's son dies, followed by 3 other members. Ish is devastated, wanting to give up. Emma, as she did when they first met, supports him. She reminds him how they built their life together from nothing and how their community has grown. She urges him to continue training the next generation. Her words give Ish strength. He goes to the mountains to watch the sunrise. It's different from the sunrises of the old world, more vibrant, more alive. He realizes this is not the old world. It's a new world, and he's been teaching his children to survive in a world that no longer exists. He returns and tells his children they've been focusing on the wrong things, preparing for a world that's gone. He declares they need to learn from nature and adapt to this new reality. He stresses the importance of learning practical skills for survival in this changed environment. Realizing their communication systems have become obsolete, they decide to rebuild a radio network, strengthening their communication capabilities. Ish initiates social events, reminding the children of the importance of community and cooperation. He extends his efforts beyond their immediate community, starting to renovate the abandoned town, rebuilding hotels, and planning to expand to neighboring towns. In the post-credits scene, we see Ish with his grandson, who's recounting Ish's story. The grandson acknowledges this new world is now their generation's responsibility. The story ends with this passing of the torch.